So in the previous session, we have seen the simulation part of your Broad lab experiment, that is a window comparator by using two op-amp of 741 IC. Okay, so this is the simulation diagram that we have done in the previous session. As you can see that we have used two op-amp, that is of Micro A741 IC, right? And next we have used some 10 kilo ohm resistors, okay, 3 kilo ohm, 10 kilo ohm resistors, okay, and there is a 5.1 kilo ohm pull-up resistor, fine, and on that we have used some pull-up voltage of 10 volt. Then each op-amp will have plus 12 volt for their pin number 7, okay, that is a plus 12 volt, and that is for the pin number 7 for this op-amp, and for this op-amp also we have plus 12 volt. Similarly for each op-amp, for its pin number 4 we have applied negative, that is a minus 12 volt, right? That is what we have seen, and along with that for the pin number 3 and pin number 2 of the first op-amp and second op-amp respectively, we have applied some set of voltage, okay, that is a triangular waveform that we have applied of the voltage 5 volt and the frequency of 1 kilohertz, or in respect to the time period it will be 1 millisecond, right? So by following this diagram we are going to rig up the hardware circuit. As you can see that in this breadboard I have mounted all those resistors, op-amp, okay, and wires on this breadboard. As you can see that I have just followed this figure, okay, to rig up this circuit. As you can see here, this is the op-amp 1, this is op-amp 2. This op-amp 1 consists of here 1, pin number 1, 2, 3, 4, okay. The next one here 5, 6, 7, 8. Similarly for this op-amp 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, these are the legs of those op-amp. And next one you can see that here the three resistors are mounted, okay, that is nothing but 10 kilo ohm, 10 kilo ohm and 10 kilo ohm, okay. So here you can see that on the top this is nothing but our R1, okay, this is R2 and this is R3. Each one of them are having 10 kilo ohm resistor. As you can see that on the top of this R1 you have to apply the potential of 5 volt, right? After that the next leg of this resistor, okay, that will be connected to pin number 2 of the first op-amp. As you can see that the first leg of this resistor is kept here, okay, because next I am going to apply the potential of 5 volt. The other leg of this resistor will be connected to pin number 2 of this first op-amp, okay. Next one, again from the pin number 2, okay, I will connect one more resistor, okay, and another leg of this resistor will be connected to pin number 3 of the second op-amp, okay. So that is what you can see here, the pin number 2, okay, from where I am going to connect one of the leg of this R2 resistor, and another leg of this resistor will be connected to pin number 3 of this op-amp, right. The next one, from the pin number 3 I am going to connect one more resistor of 10 kilo ohm, okay, and another leg will be connected to ground, right. From the pin number 3, okay, for that op-amp, second op-amp, I will connect one of the leg of this resistor, okay, of 10 kilo ohm, and another leg of this resistor will be connected to this portion. Means here I am going to treat this part as a ground, okay. Next one, as you can see here, pin number 6 of this first op-amp and pin number 6 of the second op-amp both are connected, okay. So with the help of wire I have connected this, I have made this connection, that is nothing but I am connecting both pin number 6, okay, of both the op-amps are connected, okay, with the help of this wire, okay, fine. The next one you can see that here pin number 4 of the first op-amp and pin number 4 of the second op-amp both are relying upon the minus 12 volt, okay. So I am going to use a common potential, okay, of minus 12 volt, so that I can apply for both pin number 4 of the first and second op-amp. right? So for that what I have done, see the pin number 4 of the first op amp and pin number 4 of the second op amp, both are connected with the wire. Means if I apply anywhere, okay, of the first op amp or the second op amp with the minus 12 volt, it will be applicable for the both op amp. Okay, in the similar sense, I will apply the positive, that is a plus 12 volt for the pin number 7 of the first op amp and pin number 7 of the second op amp. Okay, so for that, what I have done here, I have connected pin number 7 and pin number 7 of the first op amp and pin number 7 of the second op amp that are connected with the wire. Okay, so this is the overall connections that we have done. And next one, you can see that from the pin number 6, I am taking one pull-up resistor of 5.1 kilo ohm. Okay, but here you can see that two resistors are there because we don't have 5.1 kilo ohm. Hence, I have used two resistors. One is of a 3.3 kilo ohm and the will be of 2.2 kilo ohm. Okay, so totally we will get around 5.5 kilo ohm. Okay, right. So in this part, as you can see that on the top of this resistor, okay, here we are going to apply the potential of 10 volt. Okay, plus 12 volt, 10 volt that we are going to apply over here. Okay, now next we are going to apply the potential to this breadboard. Okay, and we are going to connect the oscilloscope channels to the pin number 6. Okay, to read the output, and pin number, that is channel B, will be connected to the between pin number 3 and pin number 2 of these two op amps. Okay, so that is what we can see the input waveform. Okay, so we are going to see in the next session. Okay. Now you can see this that all this potential, okay, with the help of wire is connected to our circuit. As you can see that this is our DC fixed power supply unit, and this is our DC power supply, okay, which is a variable power supply unit. Fine. So with this fixed power supply, you can see that plus 12 volt, minus 12 volt will be there, okay, and plus 5 volt, and finally ground will be there. Okay, so as you already seen that pin number 7 of the both op amp is relied upon plus 12 volt. Okay, so and we have already made a common connection for the pin number 7, okay, of the both op amp 1 and op amp 2, right? So we have connected with the wire. So here, with the help of this plus 12 volt, okay, I am going to apply this potential to the either pin number 7 of the first op amp or pin number 7 of the second op amp. Similarly, minus 12 volt, that is for the pin number 4 of the op amp 1 and op amp 2. So we have already made a common connection for the pin number 4 of the first op amp and the second op amp. So I am going to take this minus 12 volt and I am going to apply this to either pin number 4 of the first op amp or pin number 4 of the second op amp, right? Next one is a plus 5 volt, that is nothing but we have applied on the top of the first resistor, that is a 10 kilo ohm R1 resistor. Okay, so here I have applied with the plus 5 volt. The next one, negative, will be connected to this common ground. Fine, this is all about the fixed power supply. The next one is the variable power supply, in which I am going to maintain the 10 volt. Okay, that is what we call as a pull-up voltage. So here I am going to maintain the 10 volt, and that 10 volt will be given to the top of that 5.5k. Okay, you can see here, this is a 5.5k, means 3.3k and 2.2k are connected in series. Okay, so on the top of this pull-up resistor we are going to apply, that is a plus will be connected to the upper part of this or the upper leg of this resistor 5.5k, and negative will be connected to ground. Okay, now next one, you can see that this is our signal generator. Okay, so this is signal generator. Here it is going to give the signal. Okay, it is going to give the signal to the circuit, and based upon the potential from this various power supplies, when we apply on this circuit, it is going to produce the output. Okay, means here the two op amp are going to function and they are going to produce the output in the form of square waveform, right? So you can see that here in the signal generator. So here here you can see that there is a bidirectional cable is used. That is a thing but for one reference. Okay, means what type of output is coming from the signal generator. To observe that one, we are connected to one of this bidirectional probe from this signal generator to the channel B of this oscilloscope, okay, or your CRO, and that will be connected to the circuit. Okay, so that is nothing but this signal generator is given as an input. Okay, that is nothing but of we are going to use a 5 volt and the frequency of 1 kilohertz on the time period of 1 millisecond. Okay, that is will be given to, as we have already seen in the figure, that is given in between the pin number 2, okay, pin number 2 of the second op amp, okay, and pin number 3 of the first op amp. Okay, we have already shorted both pin number 3 and pin number 2. Okay, so we can either connect it to pin number 3 or pin number 2 of the op amp 1 and op amp 2 respectively, right? Once we have given this connection to this circuit, next we have to read the output. Okay, so for the reading the output, I am going to use the channel A. Okay, so from this channel A, the positive one, okay, that is connected to pin number 6 of the first op amp or the second op amp. Okay, but we have already connected both the pin number 6 of the both op amps. Okay, that is will be connected with this red connector. Okay, and the negative will be connected to this ground. Okay, so this is the overall connections, that is what we are going to make. To apply the potential to the circuit, as you can see that here plus 12 volt is applied for pin number 7 of the both op amp 1 and op amp 2. Minus 12 volt is applied for the pin number 4 of the both op amp 1 and 2. Plus 5 volt is applied for the first leg of the R1, that is of 10 kilo ohm resistance. Okay, and 0 will be connected to the ground. Similarly, this variable power supply, that is a pull-up voltage of 10 volt. Okay, that will be applied to the 5.5k resistance. Okay, resistor. Okay, and there will be, that is negative, will be connected to the ground. And you can see that here we are going to maintain the 1 kilohertz frequency. Okay, that is the waveform that we are going to apply to our circuit, and here the waveform will be triangular waveform. Okay, so you can see here in this waveform you have various types. If you press this waveform button, you can see the pulse, sine wave, square wave, triangular wave. Okay, all this kind of waveforms that you are going to get. Okay, but here we are going to apply the triangular waveform with the frequency 1 kilohertz or the time period of 1 millisecond. Right, so here everything is turned on, and you can see on your CRO that here this triangular waveform, okay, that is a thing but that you can observe through the help of a channel to channel B. Okay, that is a thing but from the signal generator, this bidirectional probe is going to give the direct signal to the CRO, and so you can see this the triangular waveform. Okay, the next one, this a kind of a square wave that what you can observe is nothing but it is the output generated by this circuit after applying this all the potentials. Okay, now next once you get the output like this, okay, actually this is not the proper output as we have observed with respect to the simulation. Okay, because of some other factors or attributes are going to play some roles, like the power supply, okay, variable power supply, okay, their heater, okay, their resistance, okay, all this hardware related parameters are going to affect the output over here. Okay, so hence we have to compromise with respect to this output. Okay, you can see that a kind of a square wave we will get. Okay, because here two op amps are simultaneously they are operating, so hence and both are connected with the pin number 6. Okay, so there is a kind of the continuous simultaneous output generation by both the op amp and op amp 2. Okay, hence we will get such kind of output here. As you can see that both the channel A and channel B are kept to 2 volt per divisions. As we have already seen that x-axis is the time period and y-axis is the voltage. So here this each one division is of 2 volt. Okay. So within that you have some 5 subdivisions. For that what you can do, that is a 2 volt per divisions divided by 5 subdivisions. So that is equals to 2 by 5. Okay. So 2 by 5. Okay, that is nothing but is going to give you the number of subdivisions. Okay, so that is nothing but that is what you can see with respect to the voltage, and with respect to the time base you can see that it is 0.5 millisecond. So with respect to x-axis, each division will be of 0.5 millisecond. Okay, so its subdivisions will be again divided by 5, means so you are going to get 0.1 millisecond for each and every subdivisions. Now let us calculate the total time period. For that we have to include the positive half cycle as well as the negative half cycle. As you can see that from this reference point I will start this tracing from this is the positive half cycle. Okay, this is the negative half cycle. So as you can count, this is the 0.1. Okay, this complete division will be 0.5. Okay, plus here you can see that up to 0.4 you can see that there is a continuous movement because we are directly connected with the signal generator. Okay, the sinusoidal waveform is the AC signal is continuously coming. Okay, which is always in a fluctuation mode. Hence we can see that kind of a running mode we can observe over here. Okay, so here if it is running each and every time, you have to use this pull and bring it back. Okay, you can see that this is complete one division. Okay, and next there is a one more division. Okay, so totally it is 0.5 plus 0.4. Okay, it is not 0.5 here, it is 0.4 milliseconds. So 0.5 plus 0.4. Okay, it is nothing but 0.9 millisecond. 0.9 millisecond is what the output we are going to get. You just convert that one into frequency. Okay, that will be your frequency. Okay. The next one is you have to calculate the UTP and LTP value. As you can observe, this is both channel of 2 volt. Means this one division will be 2 volt and upper division will be 4, and one more you can see that is between this subdivision, between this division. So that is the thing. But if it is 2 means half of it means it is going to become 1. Okay, so it is 2 plus 2 plus 1. So totally 5 volt. Okay, that is what the 5 volt we have applied. Okay. Now next one we have to calculate the UTP. Okay, so this intersection point what you can observe is the UTP. Okay, upper threshold point. Okay, that is upper trigger point. That is our UTP. So it is 2. Okay, and half of the fourth one. Okay, so let me take it as a 3. Okay, so 2 plus 1. Okay, so it is going to become 3. Okay, 3 volt will be our UTP. Okay, similarly in the bottom part here you can see the intersection point. Okay, so that is the thing, but it is half of within this 2 volt per division. So let me take it as a 1 volt itself. Okay, otherwise if you want to go for the very precise readings, then you can just minimize these values. Okay, but the problem with this one is as you minimize this voltage per divisions, your waveform will go out of the CRO screen. Okay, hence we are going to take some assumptions here. That is, it is exactly 3 volt for the UTP and 1 volt for the LTP. Okay, so this is all about your third experiment of window comparator by using 2 op-amp micro A741 IC. Okay, so this is all about your third lab experiment. Thanks for the listening. Bye.